here on the LFP network. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Once you guys hop in here, go ahead and drop a one in the comments below. Let us know that you're here. We talking about Black mental health. Let me go ahead and put this in the on the Facebook over here as well. We coming to you live off. We're doing some new things here over at the Great Conversation Podcast, man. We are live not only here, but we are live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. We out here. We doing some new things. I'm on a whole new site. Give me one moment here. All right. Well, I am HyphenX. Welcome to the Great Conversation Podcast, where we indulge in healthy dialogue about topics that are important in today's society and culture. Man, this is like mental health awareness week for me, month. Last 6 months has been really, really heavy on me. Really, really heavy on me. And we got some people. I guess I must have jumped the gun. We got some people coming on that are going to be featured guest speakers at the United Men's Mental Health Conference entitled "A Safe Place" at the Norloft. It's 118 North Main Street here in Rockville, Illinois, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for males ages 12 and up. So come on out. Come on out. Bring those children. Well, let's not bring those young men. Let's say it like that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Bring those young men out. Bring those uncles out. Bring them dads. Bring them big cuz. Bring everybody out, all the males 12 and up. Now, the mission of the United Men's Health Conference is to provide an opportunity for men to come together and discuss the issues that we face in today's society and to break down the stigma of mental health in our community and to provide a platform or a safe place, if you will, for men to receive resources and support. I got CEO Brother Henry, who's going to be speaking. We got Matt Simpson, who's going to be speaking. I'm partnering up with Kevin Thomas from the Mentality Unchained podcast. We came together to spearhead this event, and we reached out to these brothers, and without hesitation, y'all hear what I'm saying? When true soldiers are called on, without hesitation, they accepted the mission. I'm gonna bring on Matt. Matt, welcome to the conversation, man. Thank you for joining.
Peace, black man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. For those who may not know who you are, go ahead. Who are you, bro?
Well, as you said, my name is Matt, man. Last name Simpson. I'm a Rockford resident. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a partner in a business called A15 Capital, and also helped to co-found a nonprofit called the Wabando Leadership Council. We are known for our signature program, which is a college tour. It's coming up actually this spring break, March 20th through the 24th. We're taking students from the Rockford area down to Alabama this year. So that's principally who I am. I'm also a father. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and I got 4 nieces that's like my babies as well. So that's who I am. I'm a Matt Simpson. I'm a father and entrepreneur.
All right. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Hey, we're gonna bring on this guy right here. This brother right here is no stranger to the show. He's been here numerous of times. I'm gonna go ahead and bring on my guy CEO, Brother Henry. What's up, bro?
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings.
And for the people who may not remember you, let them know who you is, bro. What you do.
man. So I'm a co-founder of Kika First Entrepreneurial. We are Entrepreneur Academy, kindergarten through high school. All our children go to businesses that generate revenue, as well. They have to publish a minimum of one book a year. Also a business author, speaker, podcast, all that. But I'm just your brother, man. I'm really in helping us turn around some of the conditions in our community that it affects all of us. So I'm really excited about this event, talking to men impact, because a lot of us as men, we never really had examples, or just we haven't really had the support that we should have had in place. And so I'm excited about this being a step towards dealing with the mental health. I think it's necessary and needed. So I'm just honored to be here. My brother Matt and speakers that I know are great people. And so I'm just honored to be alongside us panel of Black men.
Like, we're gonna be talking, like, I just want you guys to hear how these men are speaking with confidence and absolute direction. This is the why these are the type of men that we need to have in the forefront to talk about such pivotal topics like vulnerability. Like, what does it mean to be vulnerable? Does it take a weak person or a
Mm,
strong person to voluntarily be vulnerable? I'm gonna let one of y'all pick that up.
mm. Bro, Henry, I'll let you jump in, man.
Some strength as Black men, for the fact that we have been on really what a man is. And so, I can speak for myself. And I'm not a professional as professionals if they jump on tonight, but in my personal experience, everything as a child was the complete opposite of what actual man should be. You sleep around, really have a lot of machismo, you tough, you get in fights, you could throw hands, all the real man. But are the things that I was told makes a real man: the music, the TV, the pressure, because that's all of us were being trained a certain way. And one of those vulnerabilities, one of the things we hear is like, men don't cry. Well, if men didn't cry, why would God give us tear ducts?
Mm,
Right? Why would he give us? Because a lot of us are raised in single mother households, we don't. We're looking at examples of women who, by nature, are very, very emotional. Men are more logical in their thinking, and so we become over emotional. But we don't. That is because we're scared to be vulnerable. I've heard plethoras of brothers say, "I fought, right? I shot that man because I was scared. I took this action because for us, we feel as though if we mention something like being scared, being fearful, depressed, being hurt, having emotions, that it's a weakness. But in complete opposite is true, because as men, we go through the same range of emotions that women, not as emotional by nature, but we still have the same emotions. And so, being vulnerable of people, especially other men that you can go to express these things, that may go through something that he needs to talk about, that maybe is not for his woman, but to help get through that thing. And a lot
yes,
of times
sir.
we don't have that, which what makes something like this conference important is we need each other. We can't get through
Yeah.
this thing without each other. We need each other. And part of that is, and it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing once you understand. If you don't let it out, it can come out in a positive energy, it can come out in
Mm.
negative energy, but it's gonna come out.
Yeah, go ahead and capitalize on that, Matt.
Yeah, man, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that you, I think Brother Henry hit it on the head. If you're really, if you're really interested in, like solving a problem, what you want to do is really understand the problem. And some would say you need to overstand the problem. You really want to uncover the issue in the situation. And that includes how you feel. So in my opinion, you really want to lean into your feelings. You don't want to run from them. You want to really understand what you think and how you feel, because that's going to translate into how you act.
Mm.
So I approach it in a logical way. You really don't want to run from your feelings, because that that kind of demonstrates the fear. You really want to lean into it and understand, like, what's making me feel this way, identify that thing and adjust it, so you don't have to feel that way anymore. Or be open and honest about those feelings, because that's where the healing comes from. That's where the resolution comes from, when you can really speak to what is happening and address it head on, versus trying to kind of tuck it in and hope that it doesn't reveal itself. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. So if that's vulnerability, if leaning into your feelings to understand them makes you vulnerable, that's the path to strength. That's the path to, like, power, in my opinion.
Man, I love what you're saying. That's a great segue, guys. My special co-host for today, it's a great conversation, and tomorrow's great conversation has just chimed in with us here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them on. We got Kevin Thomas from the Mentality Unchained podcast. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Peace, black man.
Good,
Good,
good, good.
good to see y'all, man. I'm sorry, late, just working. That's all, grinding. That's
I
all.
already know.
I'm already knowing. Hey, one day we all gonna have PAs, and
Uh,
we gonna all have personal assistants to help us navigate through. What we were just talking about, Kevin, is that we're talking about the conference coming up
yeah.
Saturday and whatnot. I'm gonna let you speak on that, and then we're gonna dive into more of this conversation.
Well, I don't really know what was said because, again, just jumping on, but I will say Saturday is going to be epic. Like I said on the radio on the other day, just to have seven brothers coming together to bring viable information to the community, and how we linking up and how we did link up. To be honest with you, Matt dropped my name into the chat, and you and I was going back and forth with Vincent. So how this thing manifested, man. I'm just proud of it, and I'm so excited about Saturday, man. Just to see young men together, locked arm in arm, really just teaching one another. I think the Bible says iron sharpens iron, and we got to sharpen each other, right? So I
That's right.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, brothers.
Most definitely appreciate you too. Now, Kevin, what we were just talking about was this: is it strength? Does it take strength for a man to be vulnerable?
It to be honest with you, it do, because we use that same strength to be strong and to be masculine, right? But it also takes strength emotionally to be able to tap into that vulnerability, because a lot of us men won't tap into it because of the fear, right? Because of the fear of being labeled or being embarrassed. And so to be able to tap into that, it takes a lot of strength to kind of lay down, like I always say, the beast or the gentleman, right? To lay down the beast and allow the gentleman to come forward. So I think, yeah, it takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable. But I think we all men have it, they possess it. They just have to tap into that.
Yeah, so we all kind of agreeance on there that does take some type of strength, or my grandfather used the word used the word courage.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of courage for a man to be vulnerable, especially in the presence of other men. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Especially in the presence. That's why we entitled this a safe place. Now,
Absolutely.
I kind of want to lean into the bulk of the conversation this evening. I want to talk about mental health in our community. I want to talk about mental health in our community. Now, I just want to read a precursor here that poverty can play a major role in mental health.
Yeah.
People living in poverty are more likely to experience poor mental health due to stress, simple stresses of living in a low income environment. This can lead to depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Additionally, people living in poverty may not have access to quality mental health care, which is furthers untreated mental health issues. brothers, I proposed a question in your experience, your thoughts, in your own words. How does poverty play a part in mental health in our community, and has it played a part in your mental health?
Well, can I start this one off? Because I think that's a real good question right there. I think, and even from a professional standpoint, is that poverty is a condition, right? A lot of us, mostly African Americans, have grown up in impoverished environments. Uh, Environment is a huge part of mental health, right? Because if you don't have the right resources, that can impact you mentally and emotionally. And so a lot of times, and in the past, we couldn't recognize what those things were because, quite frankly, we were surviving, right? And now, thank God, we're in an age now that we're able to recognize that environmental factors play significantly in the life of a black person from a mental health standpoint. And on the second thing is that as we have to understand that there's a difference between cultures, between races, how we deal with mental health, how it affects us. And so we are affected differently because of the situations and the circumstances that we're growing up in. And so I think it's very wise to understand that we live as black people, we live with it differently and it affects us differently. And so we can't use this blanket treatment or modality that allows us to receive the treatment we need the same way in another culture because they may not have dealt with that. I will also go as far as to say every black person doesn't experience the same thing. So I don't want to make that blanket statement as okay, I grew up here, you grew up here, we grew up the same way. So
Right.
as far as me though, growing up in two different environments, I grew up in the projects and then also grew up in the South where racism and all those things took place, but then also grew up in the projects where they were shooting and stabbing and you wake up and you start the day over again. And so with those two, marrying those two, for me, it allowed me to learn more about myself and learn what I really wanted to see other men. And I'm a lover of men. I want men to be able to succeed and be successful. So for me, that's how I'm impacted by mental health, and that's really what drove me into mental health.
My man said a lot, and a lot with a lot of substance. I like the way you said that not all treatment is the exact same treatment for different cultures and
Mhm,
races. I like the way that you said that not even all black people have a blanket of a remedy or a treatment.
mhm,
Uh, and because I lived in the same household as my brother, we only 2 years apart, and we can tell you a totally different childhood from each other. You know what I'm saying? We tell you totally different thing. I'm going to let Matt and I'm going to let Henry chime in on that. But first, I want to bring in another speaker that we're going to have at the United Men's Mental Health Conference. Here we have Joshua Patterson joining us. Josh, what's good, bro?
Us. I'm blessed.
Okay, you coming in a little choppy. I know you blessed, but he coming in a little. He coming in a little choppy
That's the
here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so what? Okay, I'm gonna take you out, bro. I'm gonna let you log out and log back in. Matt and Henry, go ahead and chime in on the poverty's impact on mental health.
Man, what I want to add to that, first of all, shout out to Mentality Unchained, Kevin Thomas. It's important that we have subject matter experts that we
hmm.
can identify with. You know
Wow.
what I mean? Because it helps to validate our unique experience. Sometimes we may feel like the things we're going through are alien or foreign. But when
Mhm,
you see a brother like Kevin Thomas who came from the same mud that we came from and who has dealt with the same challenges, whether it be economic, whether it be, relationship stuff, whether it be family stuff, fatherhood, and you can hear a voice that sounds like yours, um, it really helps to
mhm,
to kind of validate our experience, so we don't feel like we're alone or we're kind of crazy or something like that. So I would just want to appreciate you, man, for what
No,
you do.
man. I appreciate you, man, because you've been doing it for a minute. I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it. But I'll say, I think what I want to add to the conversation is like the notion that health is kind of like it's you can have good health and bad health. You know, you can have poor health and poor health outcomes, and you can have great health outcomes. So I think when we talk about mental health, there's a couple of sides to it. You know, you can demonstrate strong mental health and weak mental health. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Typically, we use the term, and it's applied to the negative outcomes or negative performances of behavior that are destructive. So I think there are a lot of things about my upbringing that I've learned to confront and try to resolve because they're not good. And there's a lot of things about my upbringing, when we talk about poverty, that have contributed to stellar aspects of my mental health.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that really helped me to be creative and to be resilient, um, to confront challenges head on, to be accountable. You know, those are principles and values that contribute to the better aspects of my mental health. So I like to couple those together. I think we really need to address the negative things that have contributed to our mentality. But I think it's also good that we can recognize those positive things too. You know what I mean? I think coming up the way I came up, I learned how to be creative to solve problems. I learned, and because of the way we came up, we got real tight as a family, and we really were able to identify who's in your corner and who's not. And that discernment, that vision helped me to identify the problems in my network and remove them. You know what I'm saying? So the poverty gave me that. Now, I think it's important to also acknowledge that the stress and the diet that we didn't have and things like that weren't probably as good, and we got to weed those issues out too. But I like to have those conversations in tandem. You know what I mean? The health can go good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way you emphasized on the health portion of that. Because we live in a spectrum society now. So mental health is on the spectrum. So it's not all the way, like you said, it's not always the good. It's not always the bad. Where are you at? Where's your, it's like a video game. Where your health meter at? Where your mental health meter at? Let's see. Let's see. I thought I had Henry there. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay. Well, while we
Henry,
waiting on Henry, you there? Well, while we waiting on Henry, let me say this, HyphenX, is that
go ahead, bro.
what Matt said about the poverty contributing to the success and also to the problems, right? So there's a study done by Dweck says that it's either a fixed or a growth mindset. And a lot of us are still in those fixed mindsets. So perfect example is we're supposed to grow up and have the white picket fence with the family, right? Well, the fixed mindset says that, oh, that's all you're gonna do in life. But the growth mindset, what Matt is talking about, how he's being creative, is the growth mindset says, no, I can have not only a white picket fence, I can have a black picket fence, I can have a pink picket fence, whatever I need, I can have it, right? So our people don't have that embedded in us enough because we haven't seen it enough. And that is the real essence of what this men's workshop is about. Is like they need to see powerful leadership, men doing things, men being out front, so they can see the possibility and have that growth mindset. And so, what I'm asking everybody that's going to be on Saturday is to push that growth mindset to these young brothers that you can do whatever you want to do. That growth mindset has said I can be the president if I want to. That's those growth mindset. So it's a difference in Matt's perception of his success out of poverty because he has that growth mindset. Everybody don't have that. And so that's where we want to change the narrative of having that fixed mindset versus that growth mindset.
See, I love it when Kevin hop in there and he give us those technical terms. You know what I'm saying? To what's going on. We call that code switching. Okay.
my daughter said I don't need the code switch, so I'm just telling the truth. Keeping
it is out here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Josh speak, and then I think Brother Henry's back online. We'll let him speak to this poverty. How does poverty play a part in mental health?
Am I coming through clear now, bro?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would again Unchained. Shout out to the great conversation pod for just having the courage to have these discussions. I definitely think that media a huge role and in terms of, because in my identity ownership and mental health, like ourselves, and how we think about the world. I think all of those things has had a on the image of to be black, what it means to be a man, and how fit along that, as HyphenX, being American civilization and the consumerism, all about what you have, the whole concept of have nots, thinking
Man,
about
Josh,
being,
before you dig in anymore, because we catching like every other word, but I smell it. It's like I smell the food in the kitchen. I want you to, but let's get the table set.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I want to make sure that we can hear you well. So I don't know if you need to move around because we heard you for a quick second and then you was in and out.
okay.
But I know you were saying about the media, how we play an important part in the depiction of strong, intelligent black males. And I agree with you, and I thank you for pointing that out. And also, you were going into our colonial times. I'm gonna see. Are you ready? I was trying to stall.
Yeah, no. Am I
No, he's
coming
still in a bad
through clear?
spot.
Yeah, he's still
Okay.
on the bad side.
That was
I'm gonna go
business.
ahead.
That was
But we're gonna push through. Even if you gotta type it in the chat, man, I'm gonna read it. However, we gotta do it. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Brother Henry pop in.
Man, can y'all see me or hear me?
We can hear you, but can't
Yes,
see
sir.
you, brother.
Why?
There we go.
Tonight's not the night. And Josh having the same issues. With poverty, if you look at, I always use this example from one of the brothers, 100 strong, fish in a fish tank, and you take the fish out and you clean it, but you don't clean the fish back in the dirty fish tank. It's still susceptible to everything in its environment. And poverty works. That's really how the black experience has been in America, right? And it's even said that if you put us back in that same environment, not have had the opportunity to clean themselves, may be jealous at the clean fish. So a lot of times we got to go to a new fish tank. We can't stay in that same environment because things in that environment are toxic. And we can recognize a toxic fish tank. I know if that fish could drown in water, but if the water stops carrying oxygen, then inside the water. And so for us, even though we have people that recognize them as that, that's why we say we live in the hood. We don't say we live in, just say we live in the hood, and poverty plays a direct role. The offshoots that come from poverty, crime, drug use, low self-esteem, low self-worth aspects. So we understand that it didn't happen overnight. Cook said it's been a long time, right? It's been a long time building up. I guess the beautiful thing is, and the beautiful thing about this conference is we've come far. Something's not right. And some of us who are fishing the fish tank, who have been get clean from that fish tank, now have the ability to go back to the fish, the fish tank that's affecting us all. So
yeah,
poverty, direct, when you don't have, life is divided. You can't operate in creating survival mode at the same time, right? And to deal with mental health, you need creativity, because you have to be able to think outside of the box, right? My wife and I do marriage counseling a few times a week, and just in speaking with my simple questions. But simple questions made me question what I only to find out, wait a second, this is not even real, right? It's not even poverty on the direct, the things that you can see. Yes, it plays a role. See to the things that you can't see, right? Because when you're in poverty, it doesn't give you a lot of options. If you go to the jungle, lion survives, tiger survives, antelope survives. Necessarily being creative in the sense of using their imagination to create new things or to solve problems out of survival. And when you're trapped in survival mode, when you're frozen in survival, you no longer operate the way you were created to operate. So most of us, we've never. I think Drake has a line: "Everybody dies, but not everybody lives," and it's the effects of poverty. Most of us are not alive. We're surviving, robbing Paul to pay Peter. We don't understand the law, cause and effect. We can't read. We're functionally illiterate, and we're being used by people who are taking from. Know that we're being used, but we don't know how to combat it because we don't understand. And so poverty plays a huge role. Plays a huge role in, and but I think a conference like this is one of those can just spark the idea in somebody's mind that can make a difference. That but you have to combat it in the mind before you combat it in the pocketbook. Because if we gave all poor poverty $1 million, they'll be broke a week from now, right? So we got to
change that mindset.
Got to change the mindset, and then we can change the reality. But it starts with the mindset first.
So we're all pretty much in agreement that A, mental health is important. B, that poverty will play a part in mental health. So I do propose the question of why do we believe that mental health is information about mental health is lacking in the Black community, and what is the stigma that you believe is behind mental health in our community? Anybody can take that.
I'm gonna let y'all lead off on this one. I got the answer, but I'm gonna let y'all lead off on this one. I want to hear from y'all brothers.
Yeah, I think that's real, because you know how we'll come in and we'll speak from a perspective, and then Kevin will wrap it in that,
no pressure, huh, Matt? No pressure, right?
No, but I think that there's probably a lot of contributing factors to why it's lacking in our community. I think that in some ways, being able to, it takes time to consider the status of your mind, your mental health. It takes time to consider it. You know what I mean? And in a lot of the environments we come from, time becomes a luxury. You know what I mean? Like you
mm.
can't afford to slow
Mm.
down and consider how I'm doing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And what I mean is you literally can't afford it because time is money. So
Yeah.
if I'm not exchanging my time for wages on a job, then I need to be managing some domestic work, or I need to be chasing down the next financial opportunity, or I need to
Mhm.
be, you know what I mean? Or maybe so that's one thing. I think in some ways, the nature of our lifestyle, our the challenges we face, not to make an excuse, but just kind of explaining it. Sometimes taking time to consider your mental health is a luxury. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
we're yeah, we're kind of pressed in ways that don't allow for us to slow down and consider, man, like, what do I really feel like?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think that's one of the many probably reasons why it's kind of overlooked.
Wow.
You
I like
know,
that,
No,
man.
that was huge.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead,
think
Henry.
um turkey backing. We don't do piggy backing, but turkey backing. Backing off what Matt said. Somebody goes to like NA or AA or SA. You know, the first thing you're taught an issue. And in the black community, we're notorious for business. Sweep it under the rug. You know, don't put our business out there. But the problem with don't handle our business in. So very clear example, and I pass it to Kevin. Very clear example. I had a student at my school who was experiencing some issues because of our accident, and he was wilding out. And so the mother came to speak to me, wanted to put a, and the mother started telling me her trauma. She said, "Oh, when I was pregnant with him, me and the father had shout while he was pregnant with your son." So yeah, he stabbed me, but the baby lived. You know, he here now, and you know, I jumped his cousins, and you know, we banged. I'm listening to the story. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It's so it sounds so out there that I'm like,
It's
this can't be
bizarre.
real. His dad's still in prison. You know, he don't want to claim him, so he got issues. His brother was like the male, you know, the students coming to school wearing his brother's shorts and have his brother's shoes in the backpack. All face to face. I asked the mother, "Well, have you got some therapy?" She said, "No."
Hmm.
I'm like, you know, so the idea that you can handle it on your don't need help to get through an issue is toxic in and of itself, right? That toxicity only allows you to create more of what you already have because you got to look at it from eyes that are seeing it from a different perspective. And when I saw that, how many other children in my school are suffering through extreme trauma for them to express this trauma because their parents went through trauma and trauma is passed down genetically. So if trauma is passed down genetically, on top of happening right now, you still got 400 years slavery, Jim Crow, police brutality, black hate in America. That's all of that plus what's happening in real time. And if you can't, that's combustible. If you don't do something with that in real time, it's going to outlet itself in destructive ways, right? So part of that reason that we're so vulnerable, though, is we've been taught not to try, right? We really don't trust ourselves, right? We really don't trust people who look like us. Earlier, even if another black person has an experience, which studies show that most of us feel most comfortable talking to somebody who we feel can relate to us in certain. The therapist I have right now, if she didn't look like me, I probably wouldn't be able to go. First of all, you don't understand me,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
you got to. I may say something. Me and Matt may have different beliefs, but if I say something, he feels my passion. Oh, brother Henry, that's wrong. No, he understands why I'm saying what I'm saying, even if it stands why I'm saying it. And that's the difference of being able to relate. So I think in not coming out and dealing with, mental health in our community based on our history, and a huge part of it is based on our present. Because our present reality, we sell the music that is demoralizing. We listen to music that degrades us. Anything that's outside of us is where it's culturally acceptable. When you start talking anything on the positive side, is not seen as culturally acceptable. So women can be strippers, the women can be gangsters, the men can be thugs, the men can talk about killing other black men in every song, but positive out there, you get the complete opposite reaction from people. So we've literally been trained negative into dislike that which is positive. So part of the issue is, how do we reverse negative into a positive? Because the positive will benefit our life, the negative is killing us all. So on that.
Wow. You guys said a mouthful, man. I'll be out of job, man. Y'all got it going on. I will say this, brothers. Look, man, y'all are sharp and y'all are on it. And this is how we break the stigma right here. Is conversation like this, dialogue where we're teaching each other as we're listening to one another. And that's so important, that we start to listen to each other. And I think, and I keep saying this conference, man, is so epic because we get to listen to other brothers' experiences. And one of the things that I will say too, in by way of stigma, is that, and a safe place, is being able to say I'm struggling, right? To be able to say, man, that really hit me differently, right? So if your partner died today and you bury him on Saturday, what you gonna do after that? How do you deal with it after that? And we don't deal with it, especially men. We love to just pack it down and just keep it moving, right? So now going back into what your question was, one of the bigger issue is we're surviving instead of living. And in survival mode, I think Matt has said it. In survival mode, you really can't stop to focus and think about what you're feeling, because you're always trying to make it, right? You always focus on, okay, that next dollar, like Henry said. And so if we are to move the needle any kind of way, we have to allow brothers to slow down. And we can't do that because we're our worst critics. Like, if you ain't got the J's on, something ain't right? Y'all remember growing up, if y'all had pro wings, if y'all had, y'all had some ballets on or something like that, they be like, man, they laugh you up out of there. But that ain't cool, right? So it's generational. It's continued to perpetuate itself because we don't stop it. And so there's this thing called epigenetics, meaning it's genetic, it's in your gene pool, it's biological. So some of this stuff is passed on and we don't even know we passing it along, because it's just that way. And so when we start to come and educate ourselves, this is one of the things that I've been trying to do since I've been in mental health, is educate us on the importance of what Matt said, stopping and checking in with yourself. Checking in with yourself to the point where you like, okay, man, my body's hot right now. I got the chills. I mean, just checking in with yourself, right? Because if you don't check in with yourself, you'll find yourself going over that threshold. And once y'all brothers know, once y'all get over that threshold, it's hard to come back from that. So I always tell people there are two sides of me. There's one side of me that I don't want to bring back. I like try to keep them hidden. Because if that side come, he gonna overshadow who I really think I am, which is the gentleman. So if I'm not careful and if I'm not checking in with myself, then I'm gonna continue to have that problem. And then you also said, Matt said something about time, luxury, luxury of time. We always think we got time to get it right? With all this stuff that's going on now out there in the streets, we ain't got time. You ain't got to be doing anything. You can just be riding your car. And brothers think that it's okay to come up to you and shoot, right? But here's the crux of it: resources. If I don't have food for my babies, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get it. If I can't pay rent, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get it. So guess what? That right there plays into the violence. Now we don't know, and I like to tell people about this difference between social anxiety and antisocial, because see, antisocial is a total disregard for the law. Social anxiety is I don't want to be around you because I just can't be around you. But the antisocialness, it comes from childhood, from conduct disorder all the way up, and it causes problems. And we can't always be have the luxury of time to change. Which brings me to my last point: is you have to be able to change, brothers. Change is inevitable. If you don't change, you're not living. We have to change. No matter what goes on in our life, we cannot stay the same 17-year-old, immature, not knowing what's going on, not knowing how to fight with our words and with our intellect. Then guess what? We're stuck, and we're going to be a problem. Which my last thing is choice. We all have a choice. Either you get it or you don't. You choose not to get it. You choose not to get it. So I'm gonna leave it right there.
And that's where a lot of people say, Kevin. A lot of people will say right there. Your last point is what prohibits black men from progressing in a positive manner is the choices. You know what I'm saying? The choices that one may make. Now I'm gonna this wouldn't be the great conversation if I ain't pushed back a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sit in the other seat for a second. I'm gonna push back.
Okay.
If black people, I don't think that black people can no longer say that they don't know about resources to get for mental health because of being inside of high numbers inside of the jail system and high numbers inside of federal dollars that they're getting. They have these resources. I think it falls back on not wanting to, not doing it, not wanting to share what's going on. What happens in my house stays in my house. Don't go tell those white folks nothing that's going on in this house. How do we combat that? How do we combat the not persuading the choice to be a positive outcome?
Okay, so
Kevin, let me jump in, man.
Go ahead, man.
I gotta hop off in a second, but
okay.
And I know that Kevin gonna he gonna put the butter and the sugar on it.
Do your thing. Do your thing, Matt.
Man, culture eats strategy for breakfast every day of the week. You know what I mean? Culture eats strategy for breakfast every day. Every day. I went to I'm very fortunate. I got a chance to go to East Africa, Tanzania. And when I was there, I was connected with some brothers, and they were talking about a lot of the foreign aid that was pouring into a lot of the countries in Africa. Some of the aid dollars brought to Africa were used to purchase these mosquito nets. And the mosquito nets were important, strategically to protect families from malaria. Mosquitoes carry the malaria, it can get bit, and if you got a net, you can keep the bugs out. Well, that's the strategy. But our culture is that we're an outside people. So if you're not inside in the net, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Wow.
The strategy was, we're gonna give everybody nets. They're gonna be safe from malaria. Our culture is that no, we outside. We're communal. We're socializing. You know what I mean? So culture eats strategy for breakfast. The same thing with us. You say, hey, listen, don't tell these white people what's happening in this house. You understand me? We're gonna handle it ourselves. Or listen, give me some more time. I'm gonna scrape the money up and I'm gonna fix it. That's the culture. The culture is, listen, we're private. We believe in discretion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't let anybody else impose their will on our family. That's the culture. And above and beyond the fact that there's flyers all over the library, there's a text number that we can call right now. There's a hotline.
Yeah.
That's the strategy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But our culture is that we don't trust.
Yeah.
We have discretion, and a lot of it is dysfunctional. It's not an excuse. We need to tighten up and do better. That's not healthy a lot of times. But what we got to do is, you can't change culture. What you do is you grow culture. You know what I mean?
I like that.
As you would agriculture. You plant a seed, you grow it, you prune off the dead leaves so it can grow healthy ones. You know what I mean?
I
You
like
grow
that.
culture. What you got to do is consider, you got to consider what exists now and work to adjust it for the better. And that's not a silver bullet short answer. It just kind of helps to uncover. An important way to grow culture is to have a champion, to have a person who can be accountable and responsible, who can lead by example. Now, I think a lot of us would like to think that's the black man, but we got a lot of examples with brothers who soft and weak. And I don't mean in a derogatory way. I mean, they're afraid to consider how they feel. They only want to use their hands, and they want to self-medicate and run from their problems. To me, that's soft and that's weak. So we need more champions to help grow our culture, because it ain't enough strategy in the world to grow it. You know what I mean? It's going to take somebody from the inside who going to put their hands on it and steer it in the right direction. In my opinion, that's just how I feel.
I like that opinion, brother.
I was gonna. I just say this, man. I just gave me a leeway, but I was like, let me say something Saturday. You said a coach and a champion. I was like, I know a champion, but I lead it anyway. Two in particular, right? And the champion grows culture. I agree. Two, right? The first experience was I was at the Family Justice and Peace Center. Giving me a tour, and they were showing me all the things that they had, all the resources. And the lady that somebody knows, they can mention it. It's a white woman. She mentioned to me, she said, we have all these resources, situations, but we can't get your people to come. Right? So the resources there, right? There's a disconnect. Well, okay, you say but the people who need it the most, who look like you and I, who are the majority people in poverty, all the things to be vulnerable, all those are the people that need it, but there's a disconnect. What's the disconnect Matt mentioned? There's something historically that's present that we haven't fixed because we haven't learned from his self-hatred is a double-edged sword. Self-hatred means when Kevin, I don't trust that nigga. Because he looks like me, right? And that because I don't value myself. All of the music is demeaning. So you in another nigga because I've been told that everybody that looks like me is a nigga. That's what I've been taught. That's what I believe. I hear it. Everybody that's cool to me says it. The basketball players say it. The say it. My parents say it. My uncle say it. My friends say it. My cousin. Everybody, we else, right? Then we go to school and it's reinforced. No, the people who did things great are Columbus, Jordan, Greece, Rome. These are the great people. Well, damn, who's great that looks like me? Intensifies, right? So the boys drop out of school, the girls sometimes make it through, but black on, right? The other side is self-hatred. Now we hate ourselves, people who look like ourselves, but the other side of it is we also don't trust the same people, right? So we kind of know that they got something, but we don't feel to go take advantage of something because, well, a white person has it. And if I take advantage, I don't feel confident in myself that I deserve it because I hate myself.
That part.
And I don't deserve access to the resources that can actually help me, right? And so the problem with this double-edged blade where because we hate ourselves, because we hate the condition, and so when Matt said his culture is absolutely right. If you have a tree growing in the soil is toxic, the only way that tree can survive is if you plant it someplace else. If you, then that tree is dead. So even in our school, when we created our school, number one that I control the culture, right? No, when you come here, ain't gonna be the person you gotta fight us off. Because that's your brother, that's your sister. You gotta be re-educated who you are, right? And because we don't have a knowledge of self, because our self-esteem is low, it's hard for us to understand the good things in life because we're used to the base. When Matt says culture, absolutely, it's culture all day long. Our culture is a culture. You know, back in the day, they had the song "You Headed for Self-Destruction." That was for all of us, right? And so self-destruction until we make the choice. So when Kevin said the thing about the very difficult to see the choice because all our life, like Matt said, we've been running from problems. We make the choice to face it. Now we got to face all these problems, and it's a lot of problems we got to face. To smoke a B, turn on some music, and zone out and forget to actually face your problems. I tell people every day, if you want to get rich, just face your problems. All the entrepreneurial profit. So all you got to face your problems. You can face anybody else's problems. But the problem is facing our own problems. And so we have to change that culture, as Matt said, from within. Then we can't expect somebody to come save us if we're not willing to save ourselves. Decision. I don't care if you can be in the worst neighborhood, you can be in the worst project, shooting, dope dealing. The reason you have roses that grow in the concrete is because somebody made a choice. And literally, the road to getting the mass population of our people to make that choice really can't be public. Because the moment that conversation is public, is ruined. You know, conversation has to be with the people that are going to be held, right? The moment that conversation goes public, now it's for show and it's not to help. But if it's rather than publicize the thing of get in and help, which makes this conference that much. This ain't no, we're not looking for hand claps. It's about the of our young boys and our young men, because 30 years from now, old person on the street, I need to know that the young man on the street is going to take care of me how I today, and that he's going to be the soldier and the warrior that protects the community and not that praise. This is an investment for Black men on this panel, investing in our future by investing in our working to change the culture. So Matt, you 100 with that one, man. I'm gonna say that culture piece. I know
I ain't even gonna touch it, fellas. I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't even gonna touch it because y'all laid it down, man. I don't have any. Hey, y'all did y'all thing. I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all, hey, I'm with you.
Hey, Kevin, these are the type of speakers that we're gonna have Saturday, and now you see why we was trying to keep them under 10 minutes. Like,
you can't keep knowledge under 10 minutes. No way.
You can't. I can't bottle it up, y'all. I can't. Hey, guys.
Look.
I
We just gonna do what we're gonna do, right? We just gonna do.
We're just gonna let it happen. We're just gonna let it happen. We're gonna let it happen because of the passion that is driving us. When I say us, I'm talking these men on this call, the men on this podcast right now. The passion that's driving us will fuel the nation. And I remember a mighty line. My mentor taught me this. I used to do a lot of complaining. You know what I'm saying? My wife is doing this, and the man won't let me do that. And, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the people at the church then kick me out. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm not accepted over here. I can't get a job. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and other. He said, well, once you realize that you are the common denominator to everything that's wrong with you, you will also understand you're the common denominator for everything that's for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when Henry said, if you want to get rich,
yes, sir.
If you want to get rich, fix your problems. Kevin, let them know where we're gonna be at, where we finna be at Saturday, man.
Yo, look, hey, man, look, this is just a teaser right here. This is just a tip of the iceberg right here. But y'all, guess what? If y'all are in Rockford, the Rockford area, y'all need to come check us out at 118 North Main Street. That's the Norloff Center, Rockford, Illinois. And if you own online, I'm gonna stream it directly from my YouTube channel, Mentality Unchained. So make sure y'all log in if y'all not in the Rockford area. But if you in the Rockford area, get off your couch, get your 12-year-old, get your cousin, get your uncle, get your brother, get them down to 118 North Main Street in Rockford, Illinois. It's gonna be epic. I mean, like, that's my new word, right? When I got 7
Right.
brothers with fire, that's just epic.
Epic.
That's just epic.
Epic. Epic. Matt, let them know where they can find you at. Drop your socials where people can find you at.
Man, yeah, you. So what I want you to do is really find the organizations I'm affiliated with. 815 Capital LLC is an investment firm based in Rockford. We invest in real estate, events, and what we call collaborations. 15, the word capital, LLC. We have an events division called Court, KORT, Kings of the Round Table. We got a really, really dynamic event coming up in 2 weeks. It's a R&B showcase, a live karaoke. It's called R&B Ain't Dead. Please
Right.
tap in. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Bring some great energy back to the state line. And then we have a nonprofit. We're hosting a college tour. For the past 3 years, we've had to go dark because of the pandemic, but we're back now, and we're taking students from the Rockford area. This year, we're going to Alabama. We named a tour for our ancestor, Joseph E. Lowry. It's going to be the 2023 Wabongo Leadership Council College Tour. That's WABONGO. Wabongo is a Swahili word that means that Black people are thinking people. We're the Wabongo Leadership Council. So please tap in with us. 815 Capital, the Kings of the Round Table, Wabongo Leadership Council. That's on all your favorite social media, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Boom, hit them here.
Man, social media, Instagram, CEO Bro Henry. Same thing on Facebook, YouTube. Definitely 2 things coming up. As you know, Entrepreneurial Academy. We're the only Black-owned school in Rockford, Illinois, who is in the schools in Illinois that are recognized by the Illinois State Board of Education. We are an event coming up March 4th. Is a business brunch. Tickets will be available on. We want everybody in the building for this business brunch. We don't want to just network. We want to find real solutions in our own community. So it's bigger than just coming together to eat some snacks. We really solving problems. So that'll be March 4th, 7:30 North Church Street. For those who are aspiring entrepreneurs, I just opened up a new clientele for my mentorship program. So I'll probably pick up about 20 new clients. Is interested in learning how to make their first 6 figures or their second 6 figures or wherever they're going to be at. You got to deal with these mental things first. The mindset is always more important than the skill set. Hit me up and we can rock on that. Mindset over skill set all day long. So that's me. That's KEA, the school. By any means necessary, enroll your children. Here we can partner, we can collab. We got a lot of young entrepreneurs who are guidance, who are looking for people who look like them to help them get to whatever level they want to get to. He's in mind, and that's it, man. That's it, D.
All right, Kev, hit them.
Well, I'm like Matt. I would plug myself, but at the end of the day, it's not about me. So my counseling firm is Lantern Therapy. We're at 6072 Brentwood Road Drive, right here in Rockford, Illinois. The phone number is 815-213-4046. You know, anybody that need counseling, that are suffering from any type of mental illness, I will see them. My staff will see them. We're real diverse staff, so we're always looking to help in the community. I just hired another brother, so we're going to start floating him out into the community, getting him involved in some stuff just like I'm doing. And one of the things I will say, brothers, is if we work on duplicating ourselves, man, we can make some change.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm trying to do with this brother, is duplicate myself with him, get him into the community, hooking up with fellows like you guys, and hopefully we can get some help going on in our communities, because our people need it. And so I want to make sure you guys know that my office is at 6072 Brentwood Drive, Rockford, Illinois, 815-213-4046. And my podcast is Mentality Unchained, is where we talk about Black people, we talk about culture, we talk about change the mindset of the individual. And that's at Mentality Unchained at all your social media platforms.
Well, y'all heard it there, man. Saturday, get out, come out and see us. Y'all know who I am. I am HyphenX. And you know what we like to say here at the Great Conversation Podcast is that you don't always have to agree to have a great conversation. Peace. Oh, wait. See us tomorrow, man. We'll be right back. I forgot we got a special tomorrow. We got a physician from Molina Healthcare. Watch this. Kevin, what's his name?
Dr. Ezekiel.
Yeah.
That's cool, right? Ezekiel.
Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Ezekiel coming on. We're going to be talking to him right here live. We'll be on Facebook and YouTube, guys. Remember, this is an interactive show. Leave your comments. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this on the playback, go ahead and drop a 2 in the comments for me, okay? So I am HyphenX, Great Conversation Podcast, man. We out. Peace.
Blessed.